We introduce you the C&I solutions from Huawei, Solox, and DEA brands, and also we will have a quick look in the beginning of the utility scale. So that's going to be some new brands. Here you can see the previous couple of closely 10 years, the battery storage capacity that has been installed in Europe. And you can see most of the residential energy storage systems give the big cake of the portion. And in the past few years, the utility scale and the C&I is almost doubling in each year. So hopefully, in the next few years, the C&I and the utility solution will also double itself, and residential also will increase a lot. So this is the expected energy storage capacities that will be built in the next 4 years. And as you can see, there is 3 different scenarios. The optimal scenario is the high scenario, and the low scenario with the blue ones. So hopefully, we will see roughly 40% increase in battery storage increase in every year. So that's why we're trying to focus on the energy storage, not only in residential, but C&I and utility also. First of all, we will start with Huawei solutions. I think most of you know is already familiar with the previous 200 kilowatt-hour Luna. Last year, end of December, Huawei launched the new version of the Luna. It's in an updated model, a liquid cooling version with 215 kilowatt-hours, so a bit bigger and a lot more easier to install and to maintain. So we will have a quick look on how to sell them, how to install them, and what to know about them. So the main difference is, because it's liquid cooling, it came in one piece, so you don't have to install the battery packs on site. They just have to deliver it, and you can just connect the AC cables, communication, and it's all done. So no need to do the wiring inside the cabinet, no need to install the battery packs. It's a pre-assembled cabinet for you. Also, it's trying to use as much energy as possible. So for example, from the cooling methods, it has the natural cooling, it has the active cooling, and also like waste heat management, which means, for example, in the winter, when the PCS is working and it obviously generates heat, the whole PCS can use this heat to heat it up itself. So basically, it's trying to use as less energy as possible from the capacity in order to maintain the working. From safety, it has all the same features as the previous Luna, so pack level monitoring, shutdowns, and also it can adjust each battery pack's output in order to have the whole capacity when you have some fault inside one cell. The previous version just shut down this whole pack, and you could use the rest of the packs inside the battery, but this one won't shut down the whole pack. It will just reduce the capacity of the whole pack in order to utilize more energy. From still safety, it's a built-in solution, so the PCS is inside the rack. There is no external device that you have to install on the sides or on the front, and because of these, everything built inside the cabinet, the installation will be much easier and more space effective, because on the next picture you will see the installation sizes. So for previously, you had to have at least like 3 meters in the front of the cabinet in order to put the battery packs inside, because they are too heavy. You need to operate a forklift or something in order to put the battery packs inside. Now, since this is already pre-installed, there's no need to have that big space in front of the cabinet. You just need some space to maintain it and have an access to it. So as you can see on the pictures, you just need 10 centimeters in between each cabinet. That's really like nothing compared to the previous versions. So if you leave 10 centimeters next to each other, and if you face them back to back, like on the lower picture, you just need 30 centimeters from back to back. So it's really like you can squeeze so many of these cabinets to a small place that you can utilize more energy compared to the previous version. So I think it's really a big advantage, and also for the installation time and cost, it will be much cheaper and easier because it's already pre-assembled in the factory. And one thing to mention here, that since they are all pre-built and they weigh almost 3 tons, you need something to operate on site that can handle the 3 tons. So previously, since it was not assembled, but you have to do it on site, the cabinet was roughly 1 ton, so you just need to lift that 1 ton and move it. And then the battery packs are roughly 160 kilos. And compared to that, now we have one cabinet that's almost 3 tons. So you just have to keep in mind that you somehow have to operate that 3 tons all around the working place. So where do we suggest to use Huawei? Obviously, for the CNI and the utility scale, 90% or even more is dominated by Huawei inverters. So for these parks that's already been installed with Huawei inverters, this is the best choice because there's no need to install a third-party device for EMS, for energy management, for anything. You can just connect it to the existing smart logger and it will work like a magic. So that's probably the best scenario that you can use it for. And if we, some on-site experiences. Unfortunately, you cannot see the Lunas here, but we are installing a PV plant with 2.5 megawatt DC and 1.2 megawatt hour capacity with the Lunas, and it will be commissioned next week. So it's really fresh and new. If you want to know more about it and you would like to get behind the scenes, you can just always ask us. We can share the experiences we had with them. And maybe it can help for you for your project to know it deeper. Here are some footages from the battery installations for the previous version. That's what I mentioned, that it's the crane operating or a forklift, and you have to install the battery packs from a forklift because they are too heavy. And from the new version, the liquid cooling, obviously you don't need this kind of forklift to lift the battery packs. And you can skip all the assembling work on site. Okay, so switching to Solax, from Solax we have roughly 2 different options that we can offer. One is the DC coupled and the AC coupled. The DC coupled version is the Helio. It's basically a battery system with a hybrid inverter. So as you can see on the picture, the battery pack and the cabinet has an inverter on the side. It can be either a 50 or a 60 kilowatt inverter, a hybrid inverter, and you can connect the DC strings directly to the inverter. And from the inverter, you can already charge the batteries. So this is the DC coupled solution. It has 100 kilowatt and 200 kilowatt hour capacity. You can choose which one to order and with which inverter, the 50 or the 60 kilowatt inverter. And from the AC coupled versions, they have 2 solutions, one air-cooled and one liquid-cooled solution. It's kind of the same as Diaz GF60, but they're using different cells. So in Diaz, you have the Boss G battery packs, but they're using not the same battery packs as they put into just the residential. So like you will see it when from the inside, but it's kind of the same solution that you have an inverter and you have the battery all together. The price is good. You can ask the guys over there for the prices. But we have really good prices for both the liquid cooling and the air-cooled solutions. A bit more expensive than Dia, but maybe a bit more reliable also. So it's a bit on a higher level than Dia. So for AC coupled solutions, it's called the Trena. It's 215 or 260 kilowatt hour based on if it's liquid or air-cooled version. Also the PCS sides vary, depends on if it's liquid or air-cooled solution. Basically, it's the same as the Luna. You just connect the AC and it's gonna work. Yeah, price is cheaper than Huawei. So basically, if you set up a scale, Dia will be the lowest, and then Solax, and then Huawei. So that's roughly the prices for them. So this is the inner side of the DC coupled. So as you can see, there's a hybrid inverter on the side. The battery pack's already pre-installed, so you don't need to do any kind of installation on site. Just install the inverter, connect the wires to the inverter, and you're good to go. Also, it's the same with the AC coupled. On the left, you can see the air-cooled version, and on the right, it's the liquid-cooled version. Basically, also as the same solution, everything is pre-assembled in the factory. You don't have to do any kind of installation inside the cabinet. Just connect the AC and connect the communication, and it's ready to use. Yes, for the previous version, for the Luna, you have to install everything on site, but the new one that I just showed, it's already pre-assembled, so you don't have to do any kind of installation on site inside the cabinet. Some overview of the DC and AC coupled. For the DC coupled, you can see it on the orange, and with the blue one, it's for both of them. So basically, you can connect 10 pieces in parallel, which is a lot. If you consider it like 200 kilowatt-hour each pieces, you can connect up to 2 megawatt-hour capacity. Both of them has unbalanced output, so this is a new feature for ESS solutions, because sometimes your client may require that to have unbalanced output. And also, if you use the DC coupled version, you can have the EPS function, so it can switch off to off-grid in less than 10 milliseconds, just like the residential inverter. So it's really unique, I think, on the market that you have this kind of function inside such big battery. Okay, this is about still the DC coupled solution. So basically, if you use a 50 kilowatt hybrid inverter with the battery, you can install 100 kilowatt peak DC capacity for the inverter, and you can use 50 kilowatt to charge the batteries and 50 kilowatt to feed back to the grid. So it's a 50 kilowatt inverter, but you can utilize 100 kilowatt because of the 200% oversizing for the DC side. For safety, it's true for both the AC and DC coupled solutions. They have this 4+1 level safety. So the first level is if the monitoring detects anything wrong or faulty inside the cabinet, any of the sensors, because it has smoke sensor, heat sensor, any kind of sensors, if they measure some wrong data, they can report it to the monitoring site. So you can get a notification, an email or whatever, that your site is experiencing some unexpected errors. And if that error or fault gets to a more serious level, then the ESS can turn off itself from the AC and DC side, like physically turn off itself in order to stop working and maybe to prevent the possible fire inside the battery pack. And if the switching off is still not enough, then of course the aerosol and the water spray will start to work, and it will try to suppress the fire that's inside the cabinet. And if it's still not enough, like the first is the aerosol that will goes into the cabinet, and then if you have the fire water connected to the cabinet, it can float up the whole cabinet with water in case just to stop the fire. And if it's still not enough, then the whole cabinet is designed to withstand the fire for 1.5 hours. So it's the time that you have the time to call the firefighters to suppress the fire. So this is the last step of the fire preventing mechanism. And the plus one is that each battery pack has a small aerosol inside, that if it detects the fire inside the battery pack, then just one battery pack can put off its own fire, preventing the whole machine to release the aerosol and the water and everything inside the cabinet. So you can still use the rest of the cabinet, and you don't have to replace everything. Of course, if it's factory defects, then Solax will replace the whole cabinet, so you don't have to worry about that. And for solutions, I think I tried to put here the most complex figure just to show you everything that's possible with the ESS. So basically, this is the DC coupled solution with PVs connected. And as you can see, we have grid connected, we have a generator connected, we have EPS loads, we have common loads, we have other inverters connected to the same system, we have PV on the battery itself. So basically, you can put everything all together and it will work. You just have to figure out a way how you would like to use it. So basically, it can work in off-grid, on-grid, with generator, without generator, with third-party inverters, with SolarKit inverters, everything basically. So that's why I try to show that how versatile this ESS could be and how many use cases there we have. So when do we recommend SolarKit to use it? Basically, it's the same solution. It's a bit more price-sensitive clients than for Huawei because it's a bit less priced, for example, than Huawei. Also, if they require the asymmetric feeding, because sometimes we also get the same solution that they require some asymmetric feeding and they would like to use an off-grid solution. And for these cases, we can offer them SolarKit because they have this awesome feature. Okay, from switching to DEA. Of course, we have the F60. It's basically a 60 kilowatt cabinet with both Gs packed in an outside or as outdoor cabinet with heating and cooling and IP protection. And on the side, you can have a 50 kilowatt inverter. And later, when they will launch the 80 kilowatt hybrid, you can order the whole package with the 50 or 80 kilowatt hybrid inverter. So it's up to you to decide. But the capacity of the batteries will be always 60 kilowatt hour. You can really scale it up to 10 pieces. So you can have with this one 600 kilowatt hour capacity. It's working with the 50 right now only. Yes, only with the 50. But if you would like to extend the battery capacity, you can just buy the battery racks and you don't have to buy an inverter separately. So you can have a 50 kilowatt inverter with maximum 600 kilowatt hour capacity batteries. No, this battery is only working with the 50. And the new generation, that's going to be the 80. So this is the two that you can use it with. And if you would like to go to the bigger scale, then you can, oh yeah, that's the inside. Of course, you have the battery packs, heating, cooling, sensors for the firefighter mechanisms, heat detectors. And for the bigger one, it's the GF120. Basically, it's the same 50 or 80 kilowatt inverter with 120 kilowatt hour batteries. So it's double the size, but not double the price. So with this one, you can build much more bigger solutions because it's double the capacity. It also have the same functions as the regular 50 kilowatt hybrid, which you're probably familiar with, that you can have the EPS function, the off-grid function, the diesel generator connection, the asymmetric output, everything is the same because the inverter, so the AC side, is exactly the same as the hybrid 50 kilowatt inverter. So where do we recommend DEA? It's basically for those solutions that you would like to mix everything with the ESS and the batteries. And of course, because this will be the most price-valued project, maybe at some cases you can offer like some levels of pricing, and DEA will be probably the best for the price-value ratio. Okay, so we're gonna switch a bit up to the beginning of utility, end of C&I, because with CATL, I'm not sure if you know this brand, but probably you know it. They are the biggest cell manufacturing brand in the world, and they also build the DC side for batteries themselves. So they not just only produce or manufacture the cells, they also produce the battery, but only the DC side. So these batteries are not with the PCS or not with an inverter, it's just the DC side. So you have to connect separately a PCS in order to have AC power. This is a picture from like 2 weeks ago when we visited them in China at the factory. And it's the roadmap. So from this, what we are going to use and we can offer to you is the NR1 Plus and NRC Plus. It's from 2022. They have two different cell types. One with the 306 ampere hour, and the other one is the 285 ampere hour. The NR1 Plus is the cabinet solution, so it's a kind of the same as the Huawei Tolox and their cabinet solution. It's 400 kilowatt hour maximum, and with technical regulations, you can order it with 255 or 407 kilowatt hours. So that's the two sizes that you can have. And basically, it's really just an energy storage. There's no PCS, no AC side. So that's just the battery itself. And for the bigger brother of it, it's the NRC Plus. It's a standardized 20-feet container with 4 megawatt hour capacity. And also you can deduct the capacity if you're using smaller cells. It's going to be roughly 3.8 if you use the 285 ampere hour cells. They have these two type of cells because the 306 ampere hour cells is for the half C charging and discharging, and with the smaller cell you can reach the 1C charging and discharging capacity. So why is it good to buy CATL products? Because since they build and manufacture the cells itself, they know how can they utilize the energy inside it and build a solution around the cell in order to have its fully functionalized solution. So it's not a risk of mismatch, for example, with other companies that they just buy the cells and they try to build a solution around it, because it's the same factory. They know how to get the most out of their own cells. And also because of the warranty terms, if you have one brand behind the battery cabinet and the cells, it's going to be the best solutions if you have the same company for the warranties. So here's an overview of the cabinet solution. It's the 407 kilowatt hour NR1 Plus. As you can see, it's all liquid cooling. It has everything inside, so no need to assemble anything on site inside the cabinet, because all the pipes and coolings and the connections are done. You just have to install one DC plus and one DC minus cable and connect it to the PCS, and it's ready to run. So this is the cabinet solution. Since it's almost 400 kilowatt hour, the weight is much more bigger than the previous container. So this one is roughly 4 tons with packaging and everything. So that's really like a big cabinet, if you can imagine it. But if you order it with just 255 kilowatt hour capacity, then it will be roughly 2.7 tons. So a bit more handleable, but still it's a lot. So this is the battery module overview. Basically, it has 8 packs of 50 kilowatt hour batteries inside. The bottom layer have the cooling plate, which runs the liquid cooling inside. So I think the most advanced the advantage for this liquid cooling is because the cooling plate is underneath the battery module. Each of the cells will have the cooling physically in contact. So it's not the same as with the air cooling, when you have like a fan on the front and a fan at the back, and they just blowing the air, and the air would cool the whole cabinets inside. This solution is much better because you have the liquid cooling touches every single cell inside the cabinet. So you will have a much more reliable and less temperature difference between each cell, which will obviously last longer for the lifetime. And for the NRC, the container solution, it's the 20-feet container packed fully with also the same liquid cooling cells and packs. Basically, it's just a bigger solution, but it's based on the same size as the cabinet size. Now, this one is almost 36 tons, so you really need a big crane to operate it, and a really good foundation. So this is for installation before you plan to build the site. You really have to make sure that you have a proper foundation for this almost 40 tons container to maintain its place. The battery packs are kind of looks the same as the previous version. It's 100 kilowatt-hour each battery packs, and you have the container packed fully with it. So it's based on the same structure, same liquid cooling plate on the bottom, and the same cells from CATL. And for degradation, there are many different cells with CATL, but I can say that the state of health, I think they're the best on the market, because if you see for 20 years, still the usable energy will be roughly 67% of the beginning of life capacity. So in 20 years, you will lose roughly 30% of the battery capacity, which is really good. Yeah, I know it could be sound like a big number, but compared to the competitors, it's really almost nothing. So they have the biggest advantages in this one, because you can use the full 100% capacity, because their DOD, the depth of discharge, is 100%. So if you have a 4 megawatt container, you can use all the 4 megawatt hour. You don't have to leave anything inside the battery. So you can use much more energy over the whole lifetime. And about warranties, 3 years is the base warranty that they give, but you can extend it up to 20 years. And also this year they will launch a new type of cell, which you can reach 0% degradation in the first 5 years. So that means for 5 years you will not lose any kind of battery capacity, but after the 5 years it will start to degrade like the previous ones. What I mentioned, the 100% DOD, is really a unique feature on the market, because most of the ESS brands have roughly 90% of DOD. That means you cannot use that 10% energy left in the battery. For the PCSs, we will talk about them. They have 5 years basic warranty, but you can also extend it up to 15 years, if I'm right. And installation, also we can do the installation for you with CATL. It's 5 years if we commission it, but for the installation, otherwise it's just 2 years. So because it's just a DC site solution, you need a PCS to have the AC coming out from the battery. And in order to do that, we are working with some of the PCS brands. What I would mention here is the Kehua on the top, because they are the brand that's have their PCSs on the approved inverter list all over in Eastern Europe. So probably all of your countries has the Kehua listed as the approved PCSs for the grid operator. And yeah, we visited them too just 2 weeks ago in China. And from their PCSs, I would like to mention two different types. One is the transformer version. This is an on-off grid switching cabinet, so it can be ranges from 100 kilowatt to 500 kilowatt. It has the transformator inside, it has the switching cabinets inside, because it can also switch to off-grid mode within 10 milliseconds, so it's still the UPS function is, you can have the UPS function. One thing to mention here, that it's only just IP20 rated, so you have to build some kind of switching house around it in order to prevent the environment, the water, everything to reach the inside. So it's not meant for outdoor use, but it has the off-grid ability also. And it's connected to the AC grid on the TNC connection level with 400 volts. So probably most of the you uses the TNC. TNC, you know, it means like the 5 wires. So you have the 3 phase, the neutral, and the grounding. That's the TNC. You can easily connect it because, for example, for Luna, the Huawei, it's IT connection. So you just have 4 wires, the 3 phases, and the neutral, so without grounding. And the other solution is the rackable solution, the modular one. It's 100 kilowatt capacity. It's IT connection, so this doesn't have a grounding. You have to prepare the grounding for yourself. It just have the 4 wires connection also on 400 volts. It's IP66, so you can place it outdoors with, inside rack. But that rack you have to build for yourself. And why do we choose Kehua? Because also CATL recommends them as a reliable PCS solutions, and they have been working together for some time. And they know it's working together and it's working good. So that's why we are relying on Kehua and CATL also. And to how to choose the BSS, a good BSS solution, and what's the mathematics behind it, and how can you choose a reliable ESS brand and solution. My colleague Hugo will present it to you because it's more like the selling side and the salesperson side, that how can you convince your clients to buy these solutions.
I hope you can see the screen. Okay, that's right. So I bring you this complex question to emphasize you how complicated is the recommended good or suitable battery solution nowadays. This is the title of my presentation, why math is one of the most important thing in the BESS business. So why this is so complex? Let me see. Well, because if you think about what is the PV business nowadays, then you see that it's 1 times 1, really easy. But if you think what is BESS, then this will be. Yeah, you can see lot of formulas. Yeah, this is the case that we need to choose and find a good solution, but we have to calculate with a lot of variables. Yeah, because it's easy. Yeah, and back to the PV business, just remember what was in 5 years before. Everybody is seeking the information, what is the best solar panel, what is the best inverter, and nowadays we know what is the good solution. Huawei became one of the winners in this kind of business many years, and famous brands like Fronius has pulled up on socks to develop the product line and the product. So if you see that screen, why we need such a complex formulas, there is the answer as well, because we want to make an educated investment decision, and both for the corporate and on the project level as well. So we need a lot of need to calculate. Why need to examine for this? Because it's a complex things, a lot of ingredients, technology specs that we have to see and check. So the solution is really complex. So this is the reason why the mathematician is one of the most important business, was one of the most important person in the business. So you need to know this, and we make a little bit easier formula for you. And we suggest you that you need 3 things in the BESS business, and this is the 3 rules. First rule is that this simple formula and all those variables. Here is the LCOS with CAPEX, and this is the way how can you calculate this thing to avoid apples with orange comparison of energy storage. And this levelized cost of stored energy, This is LCOS. This is the formula, how can we calculate out. CAPEX. This is the investment cost. All those ingredients that you want to install in this storage, you need to sum up this. And then you have to divide with the lifetime cycle, the DOD, this is the depth of discharge, and then the capacity plus the end-of-life system of health. This is also the capacity of the energy storage, but at the end of the life cycle. And you have to multiply with the RTE, runtime efficiency. This is the efficiency of the system, I mean the battery storage. Then you will get a lot of info, what will be the solution cost that you have to store in 1 megawatt hour energy. And you see 3 integrated solution, and then the CATL. If you check the first 3, then you see bigger numbers at the end, 41 euro megawatt hour. This is the stored energy cost. And then at the end, there is the CATL solution. You will see a much less number, so it's much better than the others. I do not want to name it which is which, because it's not fair. But at the end, if you want to know more about this, just come in the break, and I will can give you some ideas and names. So let's follow up. This is the graph show what the cell types difference is. This is one of the ingredients of the formula, because if you check this graph, then you see that one of the cell, after 700 cycle, it turns and goes to the 60 percentage, so it's degraded a lot. And if you check the CATL, is also a straight line, so it's much better than the other. So the simple principle is the second rule. The integrated solutions are cause a higher complex, higher cost, storage cost, and that's the reason why we show you and wants to suggest you the CATL solution, because we create a multiplied complex solution. We choose the ingredients which are the best one by one, and we put together this solution. All those who need a simple solution, they will choose the integrated solution. Integrated solution is a hallway solution. You get everything in one piece. You get the energy storage, and you already know the Fusion Solar app, everything together, put together, and it works really good. But if you need a better LCOS cost, then you need to choose another solution. And we want to suggest the CATL in this time. Okay, and the third rule is who choose those integrators or companies who provides you the A to Z solution, because they know what they offer, has an official manufacturer relationship. This is really important. You can able to ask questions from them, and if you have a trouble, then they can help, and provide services and educated financial guarantees. So these are the main advantages, and you need to choose those who can give you. Okay, this slide was in the other presentation, so that was my side. So I hope you can a little bit closer to this the CATL solution, and if you have any question, then please let me know. Thank you.